Hey y'all, welcome back to Brave Kids Art Club. My name's Brad, and today we're going to be doing something really cool. So thank you so much for showing up and drawing with me today. We are going to be drawing something that's older than dinosaurs. Can you think of what's older than dinosaurs? Well, we're going to be drawing a jellyfish. And jellyfish are so much fun to draw because they're really colorful. They come in all different kinds of colors and sizes. So we get to really use our imagination and take some creative liberties and have some fun with this. So are you guys ready to draw some jellyfish with me? Perfect. Okay, cool. Let's do this. Oh, but before we start, every video I always ask you to subscribe, and I'm still asking you that. Please subscribe to this channel. But also I tell you that there's a little bell notification that you can tap on to help remind you when these classes come up. That doesn't exist anymore, so don't worry about the bell. Just subscribe and then tune in every day, Monday through Friday, for these videos. So, okay, that's it on announcements. Now we need to make sure that we have everything we need to draw. As always, we need a nice clean sheet of paper to start with. Make sure you have yourself a good sharpened pencil and make sure it has an eraser or you have an eraser handy because we will be doing that. We use that pencil a lot because we're going to do sketching and make sure we know where everything's going to live. And then we also have our pen or marker, something dark that we're going to do outlines with. And then at the very, very end, we'll do some coloring. I got my big bag of markers. I'm ready to color. Are you guys ready to color? Perfect, because this is a great illustration to work on that has lots and lots of colors and you can go wild. We're gonna do something a little bit different today when we get to the coloring. Normally I just kind of breeze over the coloring and you guys do your thing, I do mine. But today we're gonna do a little bit of it together and I'll show you why. Okay, so let's start with the sketch. To start, we're gonna do like a big curve over the top here. If it helps you to draw an oval first, really lightly, you can do that. But I'm gonna show you just how I'm gonna draw. I'm just gonna draw it kind of like this. Does that make sense? So it's like almost a completed oval, but you just don't finish one side of it. So you kind of have that over there. It's a little bit to one side, but that's okay. You can make it bigger if you need. So like that, because if we can finish this off and that's an oval, but what we're gonna do instead is we're gonna go down and do almost like little waves of water. Actually, what it looks like is the top of an ice cream cone. Never thought of that. Kind of looks like an ice cream cone. If I put a big triangle right here, you'd see this look like just like an ice cream cone. But yeah, go on here, make sure that's rounded off enough for you. This might be a little big, but that's okay. It'll fit on the page nicely. Okay, did you get that? So we kind of got our waves underneath here that connect to this big curve. That's going to be the main part of the jellyfish. Jellyfish are so interesting. Jellyfish are 95% water. Isn't that crazy? 95% of them is water because they don't have bones, they don't have eyes. We're gonna add eyes, but they don't really have eyes. They do have a mouth, and it's all right here in the middle, and we'll show that in a second. But first, let's draw some, maybe some tentacles coming down. Now, if you wanna make this smaller so you can do longer tentacles, that's cool too. And you can draw your tentacles however you want. I'm gonna just do kind of some squiggly lines. So you can do that, or you can make them more straight, or you can make them more curly, whatever you want. There's lots of different types of jellyfish. And you can make up your own if you want. Is that too far? No, that's pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna just make a little line next to it. I'm gonna copy it right there. And go round it off here at the end. And then we'll do one on this side over here. Same type of thing. And draw the same one next to it. Kind of like spaghetti noodles coming down. These are their tentacles. Now these go and they kind of float around behind them or underneath them when they're in the water. And you gotta be careful if you don't want to touch jellyfish because those things will sting you. Those little things right there, they sting their prey. That means the things that they're gonna eat, which is like even like little fish they even eat. And so they sting them and they bring them up into their body where their mouth is, which is right around here. Pretty crazy. Okay, and draw some more tentacles. And do another one over here. Have any of you guys seen a jellyfish? I've seen lots of jellyfish growing up because I grew up in Washington State, which is, I was in Seattle. We lived right next to the water, And every time we would go on like a ferry or anything like that, you'd see all the jellyfish floating in the water. It was pretty cool. And I've even found some on the beach, some really big ones on the beach. And again, I made sure not to touch them. I did not want to get stung. All right, because that's their defense mechanism. That's what they use to get their food and keep things from killing it. All right, I'm going to do one last one right here. I'm really excited to see how your tentacles turn out because hopefully you're trying something maybe a little different and that'd be cool to see. Okay, so we got these long tentacles out here. Now let's maybe give it a little, sometimes they have a little like pattern on the top of them, and so I'm gonna do that. I think it'd be kind of cool. It's almost like a little flower looking thing. If you've ever seen a sand dollar, I feel like it's very similar on the top. It's got like almost like a little X. But we're gonna do something, I'm gonna go like this. You can draw what you'd like. I'm gonna draw like a little fun little like flowerish pattern on the top of them. And then maybe we'll do some like, only because I want to color these in, I'm gonna do some circles right here. They almost look like little lights on here. Some of the jellyfish that live really deep in the ocean, they can actually light up. Not just glow in the dark, they light up. Their body produces something that makes it so their body lights up. And animals that can do that, it's called bioluminescent. Pretty crazy. They can make themselves light up. And they have really cool designs on them when they light up. So maybe that's what these are on here. Okay, I know I said there's no eyes. They don't have any eyes, but sometimes it's interesting to give them eyes. So you don't have to do this, but I'm gonna make mine into a character, so I'm gonna give it some eyes. We're gonna cheat a little because I want this to be a little character. So I'm gonna give it some round circle eyes right here. 2 little eyeballs. Maybe I'll make I'll make him look all innocent. I'll give him the big pupils. So it looks a little cuter, a little nicer. Even though they can sting you pretty good. Okay, and then I'm gonna do a little tiny mouth. I'm sure they have tiny little mouths, so at least that's accurate, right? It's in the area. It's actually inside that little bubble area. Okay, so now we got his little face on there. And I'm gonna add a few more details. Now this is where it's really up to you if you wanna add more fun little patterns and things. I might do some lines that go up here, like this. Kind of reminds me of a pumpkin, actually. I'll do this. Try to make them a little curved if I can. I don't want to draw over the face, so I'm going to leave that a little bit open. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe if I bring that out a little bit more, that would make more sense. That's why we have our erasers, and that's why we're doing this in pencil, so that we can make our mistakes now before they're permanent. Okay. So that's kind of fun. Maybe I could even bring that out maybe a little bit further. But I like how this is looking. There's a lot of stuff to color in. Now there is this one part of the jellyfish that's a lot of times you'll see outside, not just the tentacles, but they have this whole little section right here in the middle. You'll have to look at pictures of jellyfish, you'll know what I'm talking about. It looks kind of all ribbony and everything like that. That'll come right in the middle and come down. So I think I'm gonna do that with color. That's why I wanted to bring you guys in and do color this time. And I'll show you how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it with a really light color so we can color over top of it and you'll see it kind of layer on top of it. Does that sound good? It's kind of hard because the jellyfish are usually translucent or transparent, so you can see through them. And so it's kind of hard when you do solid colors. So we'll do something kind of fun, and I'll show you how to do that. Maybe I'm gonna call him George. George the jellyfish. That sounds about right. Okay, George. We need to outline your guts. Okay, let's go and start on the big shapes first. So I'm gonna do this big part, the main part of the jellyfish first. Ooh. Sometimes it's hard to see because my hand's in the way. Let's do this side now. We're drawing the top of the ice cream cone. Now all I can see is an ice cream, like a big scoop of ice cream on top of an ice cream cone. Okay, I think I'm just hungry. Cool. Now let's do that little pattern on the top. Almost like a little flowery pattern on the top. It's pretty fun. Maybe we'll do these little circles next. Did you guys do circles and lines like I did, or did you guys try something else? Make sure you share it if you make it. I want to see what you guys did. I wish I could look through this camera and see what you guys are doing, but I can't. So if you want to, you can have your parents post it on Instagram. They can just tag us at Brave Kids Art Club, and then I can see what you made, which would be really cool. And other people can too. You can show it off. All right, so let's do these tentacles now. I'm going to try to make them a little bit thicker. These almost look like little worms or spaghetti noodles. I'm going to make them a little bit thicker because I want to be able to color them in. So I'm going to try to go on the outside of my sketch lines here. There we go. Drawing things like jellyfish are really fun because you can get away with a lot. You don't have to. It doesn't have to look exactly like any specific type of jellyfish. You just kind of make the main body part, and you put these little tentacles, and everybody knows it's a jellyfish. So after that, you can just have a lot of fun and play around. That's partly why I love drawing animals. I feel like animals come in so many different sizes and shapes, and they're just so cool. There's so many different colors, and it kind of amazes me how many different types of animals there are on this planet. And some animals that I see, I'm like, how are they from this planet? They look like they're from a different planet. They're so interesting looking. Like near the bottom of the ocean. A lot of times, the bottom of the ocean, we haven't explored a ton because there's so much ocean, but also it's really hard to get down there. There's not very much light at all, if any light, that gets down at the bottom of the ocean. But when you do that, like I said, you'll find some really cool animals like jellyfish and other fish, all types of things that glow. They actually make their own light, and I think would be super, super cool to see. It's also really cold down there. So you have special kinds of animals that can live at the bottom of the ocean. There we go. We got all those little tentacles there. What do I name them? George? George. You're looking good, George. Okay, now we got to do these little eyeballs. I'm going to try to go on the outside of my sketch, like I said, because I'm worried I'm going to fill it in too much because I got a fat marker. There we go. Get the pupils in there, the middle part of your eye, and the teeny tiny little mouth. There we go. Okay, now we gotta get these little lines. I'm gonna try to bring these out a little bit more, make it feel more curved. I want it to feel like it's bubbled over. So you can curve your lines, you do that, and it makes it look like it has dimension or it has a different shape than just flat. And so that's why you like to curve those lines sometimes, because then it feels like it's a little bit more dimensional. There we go. And this big one out here, I'm going to bring it way out here. Try to fill some of that space. Cool. Okay, now we have to erase, and I have to warn you, I'm a very, very fast eraser. So do you want to challenge me and see if we can see who erases their stuff first? All right, here we go. Ready, set, go. And done. Did I beat you? I like to cheat, I'm sorry. But hopefully you got all of your sketch cleaned off from underneath your outlines. we are ready to do some coloring. Now this is why I usually break off and I do my own coloring, you do yours, and then we meet up at the end. But today we're gonna do something a little bit different. We are going to do a little bit of coloring with me because I want to do that little, like I said, there's like a little ribbony stuff that is inside the jellyfish. And when I'm coloring with markers, so a lot of times I get solid flat colors. But if I use really light colors, like this light pink and this light blue, this one right here, it's actually more, what is it, mint green light? Whatever this color is right here. If I draw over them, you're gonna be able to see them laying on top of each other. You'll still get to see the color that mixes between the two. So let me show you what I mean. I'm gonna make this middle section. If you wanna follow along, get something really light, a really light color. That's the key. If you're doing markers or something really, really light. It won't really work with crayons or colored pencils if you're doing that, so you can do your own thing. But if you are using markers or like watercolor, this will work. I'm gonna just draw like a little shape right here for the inside. We're kind of where their whole mouth is and where they eat everything. It's kind of in this little blob in the middle of their body. I'd say I was gonna close his little ears here because I wanted to tell you that he doesn't have a brain, but he also doesn't have ears, so. Jellyfish don't have brains, which is kind of crazy to think. Okay, I'm not gonna color in his eyes, but I am gonna color in everything just right around here. There's not really much of a shape, it's just kind of a blob in the middle of the jellyfish, so. You may want to make it a little bigger if you want. This is where all the food goes in and they have to digest it. And they have to digest their food really quick, actually, because they need to still be able to float around. And if they don't, then they'll start to sink. And this cute little tiny mouth, that shoots out water to help it move around. It does a little jet of water. It goes. Now we're gonna do, we're just gonna do a little bit in the background as well. So it's just a little messy shape, a little squiggly. Like this. It doesn't have to be, there's no real right or wrong way to do this. Just kind of draw a really messy, like squiggly line right there. And then you can fill it in. Now, you'll see, oh, I'm not sure why. Took it off to go cover that one and I opened up that end. It's kind of counterproductive. Okay, and then I'm gonna do my other light color. If you do a dark color, you're not gonna see the color underneath it. So, and I'm really hoping this works. So now, I'm going to go like, I'm probably not gonna color in over that. I'm gonna leave this circle here. I'm not gonna color it in, but I'm gonna do like a little line right back here. And then I'll have it color in right up to the top there. And then I'm just gonna fill this all in. I'm not gonna color in that little flower thing. I'm not, you can. I'm just gonna use a different color for that part. But you'll see what I'm talking about once I get coloring over top of, oh, I got a little bit on there, that's okay. As soon as I start coloring over this middle part of the body, so now you see it turns into a little bit of color, but you can still see it. That's what I wanted, because in jellyfish, you can see through them. So I wanted to be able to see that when I'm drawing, when I'm doing my coloring. If I did this pink part, if I outlined it, it would be really messy. It'd be really hard to tell what was tentacles and what was that middle part of the body. So that's why I'm doing it just with color. Oh, I almost got inside the eye. These darn chisel tips sometimes can throw me off. Cool, okay, so now you can see the little middle part. If you need to go back over it, maybe with a little bit of your pink, you can do that. So you can see the inside. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go on from here and just start coloring it in. It's your turn now to do whatever you want. You can fill it in however you'd like to. We'll catch up at the end, okay? George, there you are, you're all colored in. We gave you some eyes even though you don't really have eyes. I'm really happy with how this turned out. Hopefully you like how yours turned out. And if every time we do our artwork, we always put our name at the bottom because we want to own our artwork. We are proud of what we made, and so we put our name by it. There we go. Got my initials there. George's looking good. Hopefully you guys had a lot of fun doing this. I know we did a little bit of coloring this time. Maybe we'll do that in some of the future videos too, do a little bit of coloring, because that is fun to do together. But thank you guys so much for watching and drawing with me today. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and always remember to be brave, be creative, but most importantly, be you. Alrighty, we'll see you next time.